Welcome back, guys. I've obviously been talking for a fair bit because I ran out of my 15 minutes, but I'll keep on going because we've managed to find a bit of information about my example soldier, which is obviously Robert Fleming. So we've got the right guy. We know. There's the bell. So we've got the right soldier. We know he's in Canterbury Mounted Rifles. We've got the regiment that he was in, which is the Canterbury Mounted Rifles. What we can do now is go to Google and we can find out a bit about the Canterbury Mounted Rifles. So if we type that in, we can get some information about their history, the battles that they fought in, the kind of areas that they were, what kind of jobs they were, and there's even images there as well. So you can get a lot of information about that. It doesn't have to be about Robert Fleming or about your soldier. It can just be about that regiment and what these guys are up to. And we see all sorts of images, we've got the badges, we've got some of the commanders in there. You can find out a bit of the history and you can add that in there as well. So lots of information that you can find out just from that one link. If we go back, the other thing we look down here is we see he was killed on the 6th of August 1915 in Gallipoli. So why don't we have a look and see what was going on in Gallipoli on that date. So that was the 6th of August 1915. So I click on that and do a search there. And straight away I find that he was involved obviously in a massive campaign. You can see it here, the Surrey Bear campaign of 1915, and it gives you a big outline about what these guys were trying to do. He died on the initial attack between the 6th and the 7th, and it will talk about the Otago Mounted Rifles, the Canterbury Mounted Rifles, and what these guys were trying to achieve. And so you get an idea of what Robert Fleming and these other soldiers were actually aiming to do at Gallipoli. It may be over in France, it might be in Belgium, but you get an idea on that day about what was going on that horrible day that these guys passed away. So we've got all that information already about Robert Fleming. We can get videos and photos about the Canterbury Mounted Rifles. We can get photos about the Surrey Bear campaign. We can get all that information about what he was a part of when he was over there. But we might also want to find out a bit more personalised details. So one of the things I've got here is I can see he was the son of Amelia and Robert Fleming of 132 Western Road, St Albans. And that's the house that I told you about earlier on, which is just down the road from my place. And that's what kind of really got me thinking about him. I might be able to find some photos of that house today if it still exists and just imagine what it would have been like back in 1915 when their son left to go to war. But if I really want to get some more detailed information, I can go back to our special study. Now, I've given you a couple more sites, the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, New Zealand War Graves Project, and the 227 page, which is the 2,779 New Zealanders that fought and died at Gallipoli. That's a huge number for a very small country back in 1915. So those there are also there for you, and you might get a bit more information, pretty simple information about your soldier, maybe where they fought, where they died, where they grew up, things like that. But there is also another place where you can get some really detailed information. It's called New Zealand Archives, and it's a place where we store all our information from our history in one place. And these guys have been working for many years now to scan and have copies of all the official documents back from the likes of 1915. And we're going to go there now, and that's found at this link here, the New Zealand Archives. And you end up at this page through here, okay? And this is where you can do some searching about different people. So, what are you looking for? Well, I'm looking for information about Robert Fleming. Now, this is going to be every Robert Fleming in New Zealand ever. And obviously there'll be quite a few. So it's going to do a bit of a search now for me. And I get 172 results. That's far too many. This is going to be every single Robert Fleming that's ever existed in New Zealand. That might take some time. So I'm going to go to filter over here. And I'm going to scroll down. And what I'm interested in is military records. So I'm going to scroll down, and I go to this one here, including the series Military Personal Files. Now I can see straight away that's only 10. That's far easier for me to search. So I'll click on that, and the 10 military files come up. So I'm looking for Robert Anthony Fleming. There's Hunter Robert Fleming. We're not doing him. Robert Miller Fleming, no. Robert Wynne Fleming, no. Robert George. Here we are. Here's Robert Alexander Fleming. Let's click on his name and we get some information. Okay, we got some code here in regards to just his records and things like that. It's restricted access, but then it has this line here which is view online. I'm going to click on that. Now this is where things are pretty amazing. What these are that we're seeing now are the actual records of Robert Fleming joining the army in 1915, and you're going to see his own handwriting, and you're going to find out a bit about his life. So if I make that a bit wider, here's a scan of his history. So if I just zoom in here, we can find out when you look at them closely. He was a farmer. He lived in Fernside, Robert Anthony Fleming. He was a sergeant. This is his military record, obviously. Zoom in again. And then I can try and scroll down, and I can see things like when he embarked. He won the British Medal and the Victory Medal, but he would have got those after he passed away, so his mother would have been given those. I click on to the next page, and obviously some more records through here. Here's some stuff here about his background. So if I zoom in here, you can see here, this is telling me a wee bit about his war service, and it tells me this is a letter that was sent to his mother saying that your son's actually got a medal, and we're going to send it to you at 137 Western Road in St Albans, Christchurch. So click over the next one. There's some notes here and some letters that have been sent. And then we get to stuff like this, which is military history. And this gives you a bit of a background about, what he did and what his background was and things like that. So if we scroll up through here, we can see that he joined New Zealand Army on the 14th of August 1914, so pretty early on. He actually set sail. He went at sea, New Zealand at sea, during this period through here for 50 days. So he's been travelling a fair bit to get to Gallipoli. And we go over the page. It'll talk there about other bits and pieces. Some of them have lines through them. This here is a casualty form. So this tells me a bit about when he actually died. So he was killed in action during engagement. It has the place there. It looks like Balfour Hill on the 6th or 7th of August, we're not quite sure, and that's been confirmed here in New Zealand War Records. And that would have been a notice that they had originally to say, yes, unfortunately, Robert has passed away. In here also, new file begins. We've got here a service card, and this here gives you some more information in regards to Robert Fleming as well. His field service tells you a bit about him, and sometimes if you're lucky you can even get into it and actually get their sign-up sheet, and it tells you what their education was like, things like what school they went to, all these kind of things. So you should have a look through these. You can see here Woodend was his town that he was in. He was a farmer. We can see he was 5'9", so he was quite short, 170 pounds, so not the biggest guy in the world. They've got his chest measurements. They've got all sorts in here in regards to his health. He's been vaccinated, not for COVID, but for other things, obviously. And then he's obviously considered to be medically fit. And then there's all sorts of other files in there as well. Some of them are hard to read, but they're really interesting. These ones are really good, actually. This one here is really, really good. So this is actually filled out by him. You see his handwriting through here. What's your name? Robert Anthony Fleming. Woodend. British subject, yes. The date of birth, the 5th September 1890. I'm a farmer. You live in Fernside. Talks about, are you married? No. Have you been sentenced in prison? No. So he's a good boy. He lives in Rangiora. Previous service record, yes, it's all in there. You're going to join the army? Yes, I am. I'm vaccinated? Yes, I am. He signed through there. I, Robert Alexander Fleming, and there he is, he signed it. And so you get some really personal details about these guys. Even things like, and this one through here, things about, his health. What was his eye colour, what was his hair colour, was he, did he go to high school? Did he, what qualifications did he have? All sorts of bits and pieces about Robert Alexander Fleming. And that comes from the New Zealand Archives, okay? So that there is in there too. Now, what your job is to take that information, and it'll be all sorts of stuff all over the show, and then put it together in some kind of report. And you can do that in a number of ways. You can write a report, you can pretend that you are your person, and you're going to write a diary entry, you're going to create a scrapbook of photos. It doesn't have to be of your soldier, but just of what they might have experienced. Or if you're really, really keen and you're good with computers, you might make a video with photos and you actually speaking over it and narrating what would actually be done. So there's quite a bit of work there, but it's really, really interesting stuff. And it's things I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys can come up with. We don't see each other until next Thursday the 14th of April, and that is the last day of school. Now, on that day, the school is having a memorial service for ANZAC Day. It's obviously 11 days before the official ANZAC Day on the 25th of April, but it's when we can do it while students are here. Now, usually it's just for senior students, but this year I'm pretty keen to get you guys into it as well. And I want you to have a connection with a soldier. So that's the reason why I want you to do this work. So that's the work I want you to complete over the course of the next few days. It might be a chance for you to sit down with mum and dad and find out a bit about maybe your family's history and any connections that your family or any relatives or anyone that you're connected with may have with World War One or World War Two. So it's a chance for you to develop that real close connection. Hopefully it just ties that in, and then next Thursday, if you've got that stuff available, I would love to see it. You can send it to me at rnw@shirley.school.nz to my email. I'd love to see what you've got, and if you've got any questions at all, please email me, and I'm very, very happy to help out. Okay, so looking forward to seeing what you guys can produce, and I look forward to seeing you guys next Thursday. Take care. Bye-bye.